Okie dokie, kids. Hopefully, you have done your attendance, you've gotten your mail, and you are sitting around for your family meeting Friday. Before we really dive into things, this meeting is going to run just like normal, and the facilitator will run it. But when it comes time for the weekly social skill, I would like the substitute to play this video right where it leaves off because I have something that I need to teach you this week. So go ahead and hit pause until you're ready. I'm guessing you're ready for the weekly social skill. And I found a video clip to kind of encompass this one. You know, bullying is an issue that everybody seems to deal with. It even happens to adults. And I found this video clip by Dr. Phil, and we're going to go ahead and watch it. And he gives a very valid piece of advice to victims of bullying. So, what I want you to do is while we're watching this video, I want you to see if you can figure out what that piece of advice is and how you can adapt that to your life. Enjoy.
It changed my entire life because I basically had to start over at my new school, which is really hard, meeting all new people and trying to fit in again. And even on the first day, I didn't know that the girls, I guess, and the people that were involved in it sent the video to my new school, and they were watching it in the bathroom, and it's just embarrassing.
I'm surprised that that's the first word that you use to describe it. Embarrassment means shame to me. Why is that a relevant concept here?
I feel ashamed of what happened to me.
But did you feel like you did anything wrong?
No, I don't.
You weren't embarrassed that you didn't do something you should have done. You were embarrassed that you had been put on display in such a mean and unbecoming way. And the big problem about being bullied is that the bullies might say something to you like 30 times, but you repeat it 10,000 times. It isn't what they say, it's what you say to yourself about what they say. It's this internal dialogue you have, what you say to yourself about what happened. And you've got to take your power back. Hannah, do you hear what I'm saying?
That I can control how I feel about it?
It's not that you can, you do. Look, if you've got somebody that's bullying you, like both of you got jumped on, you took steps, you reported, you said the right things, you did the right things, and you still got attacked, right? Is that fair?
No.
No way it's fair. When you go to somebody in authority and you tell them what's going on, that's not tattling. You did the right things, Lily. You did the right things, and you still got attacked. The question is, what do you do when that unfair thing happens to you? Do you let that define you? Or you can say, well, wait a minute. I got to be my own best friend here. I have the power to choose how I feel about this. I'm not going to be embarrassed. I'm not going to be traumatized for the rest of my life. Behaviors have a beginning and an end. You two got attacked, lasted a few minutes, right? How long's it been?
Over a year.
A few months.
And you're still affected by it today, right? You have not given yourself permission to get past it. You've not given yourself permission to say, I encountered some sick people, some small people, some petty people, some jealous people. I want you to change choices. You're already choosing how you feel about it. If this is brought up to you, what you gonna say about it? Aren't you that girl I got beat up on the tape? Yeah, it was one of the worst times of my life. Did you have a question about it? Oh, you know what's gonna happen? They're gonna go, oh, no, I guess I don't. This isn't something where time heals all wounds. Time heals nothing. It's what you do with that time, okay? What I want you to do is 5 years from now, I want you to look back and say, that event became the springboard for me being tough, focused, and able to help other people move along.
Some guests on there who have gone through problems. And so we just saw 3 girls who had been dealing with bullying, and some of them had even more progressive issues than the other. But one of the most valuable pieces of advice that I think that he gave was when he said the statement of that bullies say a statement to you maybe 30 times, yet you repeat it 10,000 times. How many times have we had somebody say something negative to us and we allow it to play in our mind over and over and over and over again? I know that I've done that, and I'm a grown woman. I've done that multiple times. So it's completely up to you sometimes on how we let this affect us. Are you going to let that bully win by letting that consume all your thoughts? What are some things that you think you could do when it comes to that? Could you distract yourself so you're not thinking about that situation always, whether it's work, play, talking to friends, doing anything, so you're not allowing yourself to live in that situation by going over and over and over again about what you think someone else thinks of you. Who cares what they think? It only matters what you think. And sometimes we let other people's thoughts influence that, and we start to have even a low opinion of ourselves. So keep that in mind for your weekly social skill today. That was our family meeting Friday. Before our facilitator adjourns the meeting and you get up, just know that when you go back to your seats, the substitute will start playing the video again, and you will need your mini lesson out for yesterday. So please have that out and ready to go. And when everybody is ready to rock and roll, substitute, please play the video again. Get your seats and you're ready to rock and roll. Fantastic. Good job. 2 claps for you. Boom. So you have your mini lesson from yesterday. You should also have your 2 pieces of mail. One looks like a burger, and one is a article about Ted Bundy. And I kind of told you yesterday that we were going to learn about him because he's one of the most notorious serial killers. So as of right now, this burger, I don't know if we'll get to it. So go ahead and clip it in the front of your binder so we know that it's not lost. Do that right now. I'll wait on you. Clip it in the front of your binder right now. I hear all the clicks. I hear all the clacks. Fantastic. Okay, so the only 2 papers that you have sitting out is the article and your mini lesson from yesterday. Right now what I want us to do is to focus on the article because we're going to read it together. If I look at this and I am trying to just find the main idea to see if I even want to read this article, where do I look? Where do I look? Substitute, go ahead and call on somebody. I am hoping that you answered the title or the heading, either one of those. Because if we read that title and we don't like what the main idea says, we don't have to read the article. And that's what it is about newspapers. That's why the titles and the headings contain that main idea. We learned that the other day when we were learning about main idea or central idea. So this one is called Police Name Serial Killer Ted Bundy Suspect in California Murder Spree. So, did he kill 7 other women in early 1970s? Does anybody notice anything about that title that maybe could stand to be changed? Anything? I'm really hoping that someone offered an answer. If not, and it just sat there in awkward silence, then I'm going to give you the answer. So this is a really long title, and the syntax of the sentence is not the best. Police name serial killer Ted Bundy suspect in California murder spree. So did he kill 7 other women in early 1970s? It's really wordy. They could have definitely shortened that down and just contained a particular part of the main idea. So what we're going to do after we read the article is to redo the title ourselves. Because the Daily Mail reporter, not so impressed. You're also going to see a couple of typos in here. And, I mean, they're a company. They should not be having typos, right? One would think. So let's go ahead and read this together, shall we? Get out your news article. I want you to follow along, and I will read it for you. Here we go. Before he was executed in 1989, Ted Bundy confessed to raping and killing at least 28 women. He claimed, however, his victims numbered more than 100. With the help of DNA evidence not available decades ago, California investigators are now unraveling the Santa Rosa hitchhiker murders of 1972 through 73. And some expect the results will add another 7 young women to Bundy's chilling list of victims. So we can see he has a couple of pictures here. And one thing about Ted Bundy is he was a very attractive and handsome man. And that's kind of how he would lure his victims in sometimes. He would act like he's having car trouble, and a young woman would think, oh, well, you know, he's kind of cute, so I'll just go over and help him. And then, not a good ending. So right here you can see it says, Portrait of a Killer, Ted Bundy at the Leon County Sheriff's Office in Florida shortly after his arrest on a charge of theft on February 19, 1978. Then the next picture below says chilling, Ted Bundy animated in a courtroom after the judge had departed. Bundy confessed to killing 28 women before he was executed in 1989. Let's go ahead and continue. The Santa Rosa hitchhiker murders began on February 4th, 1972, with the deaths of 13-year-olds Yvonne Weber and Maureen Sterling. The teenagers were seen hitchhiking west of the town. Their bones were found 10 months later near secluded Franz Valley Road. 5 more teenagers and young women were murdered after they were seen hitchhiking in the area. Kim Allen, 19, Jeanette Kamahili, 20, Lori Lee Cursa, 13, Carolyn Davis, 15, and Teresa Walsh, 23. The murders, police say, match Ted Bundy's M.O. What's M.O.? Because we know it doesn't stand for Missouri in this instance. What's M.O. stand for? If no one knows, Mrs. Leftwich does, and that's third hour, and she can share because her husband, he's a state trooper, so he knows this stuff, and she kind of knows it too. And then Mrs. White, if you would remember what she says, like the actual wording, and then share it with the rest of the classes, that would be fantastic. But the whole thing about M.O., I think it's a Latin root. But anyway, I don't remember the exact wording. But M.O. means like the style. So when somebody has a certain style in their writing, you can tell that they're the author. It's kind of like that voice or that tone they have in their writing. It's the same thing when somebody is a murderer. They have a certain style, and so you can usually kind of tell who that is through their signature. So, the murders, police say, matched Ted Bundy's MO, which included raping and strangling his victims and dumping the bodies near roadsides. After reopening the unsolved cases last year, the Sonoma County Sheriff's Department is trying to link evidence to Bundy's DNA from blood on file with investigators. Bundy was executed on January 24, 1989, after being convicted of murdering 2 women and a 12-year-old girl in Florida, and he was aged 42. So these pictures down here, it says the murders of Yvonne Weber, 13, on the left, and Jeanette Kamahili, 20, to the right, remain unsolved nearly 4 decades after their deaths. Before his death, he told investigators he began raping and strangling women in 1969. Robert Keppel, a retired Seattle police detective famous for investigating the murders, interviewed Bundy several times and considers him a good suspect for the Santa Rosa cases. He told SeattlePI.com, the killings in Santa Rosa would fit his methods. He spent time in the area, and I'm sure he started killing well before 1974. It was an open market for Bundy. He recalled, one of the last times I talked to Bundy, I mentioned California, and he looked at me like, I can't talk about that right now. I think he believed his execution would be stayed so he could talk for years about his crimes. But the governor had other ideas, he said, referring to then Florida Governor Robert Martin's refusal to grant Bundy a third stay as he divulged more details about his murders. So the picture below, it says victims from the Santa Rosa hitchhiker murders were found near Franz Valley Road in Santa Rosa, California. Sonoma County Sheriff's Lieutenant Steve Brown, who has investigated the Santa Rosa murders, has his doubts about Bundy's connection to the Santa Rosa murders, however. The feeling was that one person committed the killings, and Bundy was looked at, but I always thought it must have been a utility worker or a postal worker, someone familiar with the area, he said. Investigators say the more free-spirited nature of the 1970s made the women easy targets and claim that is also why Bundy was able to continue his killing spree from Washington to Utah, Colorado, California, Oregon, Idaho, and finally Florida until he was caught in 1979. So basically he just traveled around America and he would go on these killing sprees. Crazy, right? So now that everybody has a newly selected title written, I came up with Ted Bundy named suspect in 1970s California murder spree. I just took kind of the gist of what they said and then tried to put it into a title that would be catchy and something that the people would want to read, and maybe it would entice them to read it. So now what I need you to do is to go through the article if you need to, and I want you to identify the main idea. Do that right now. Identify the main idea and write it down on your mini lesson where it says main idea. And go ahead, Mrs. White, and pause this video until you're ready to move on and the main idea has been identified. Pause it. Boop. Okay, now that everybody has the main idea identified, let's go ahead and see what you came up with. Right now, I want you to take a couple of minutes and I want you to share your main idea with your table. Everybody needs to share theirs. Substitute, go ahead and hit pause on the video. And once everybody's shared, hit play and I will tell you what the main idea is. Since everybody has shared, let's go ahead and focus on the main idea. Now we need to make sure that the main idea is the main event that happened. Because remember, we were talking about fiction versus nonfiction. And the main idea of a fiction piece of writing is the theme. And the main idea of a nonfiction piece of writing is the big event that took place. So this right here is an actual news article. It is nonfiction. So we're looking at the big event that took place. We're not pulling a theme, it's the big event. And the big event is that Ted Bundy is a suspect in a California murder spree. If you have any other details beside that, you need to erase that. Because now that we're focusing in on the topic, if we just said that Ted Bundy is a suspect in a California murder spree, that's huge. There's tons of California murder sprees. There are tons of times that he was a suspect for other murders and why people thought that he had killed this person and so on and so forth. So it should just be Ted Bundy is a suspect in California murder spree. Something along those lines. The extra detail does not need to be there if you have that, so go ahead and erase it. Now, how can we focus this? What makes it specific? Right now, what I want you to do where it says focus topic, I want you to identify what is specific about this topic. Focus it in and write that detail. Go ahead and pause this video until everyone has that written and then hit play. Okay, so for focus topic, if we think about it, the main idea was Ted Bundy as a suspect in the California murder spree. So what is specific about this? Well, there were 7 women that were killed in the 1970s, and this is the one that kind of focuses in the topic. So when it comes to the focus topic, you should have wrote something along the lines of these 7 women killed in 1970s. Okay, got mine all written. Now what I want you to do is to think of a word that you would use to describe Ted Bundy or the murders or the situation, okay? An opinion word. It needs to be an adjective and it needs to be something that evokes your opinion about this whole thing because we need a controlling idea. Before we just write a topic sentence, we need to make sure that we have all those parts of a perfect topic sentence. And one of those is a controlling idea. So right now, I want you to brainstorm a word. And don't you dare even think about using a dead word. Don't use the word sad. Don't use the word, oh, horrible. Horrible? That's just another synonym for bad, sad. Yeah, no. Think of something fantastic, okay? Write that opinion word down on the controlling idea line. Go ahead and pause this video, and once everybody has a controlling idea written down, hit play. Now you have your controlling idea picked out. I chose the word tragic. It is a very tragic situation. So that's what I picked. Now what you're going to do is you're going to take the main idea, the focus topic, the controlling idea, and you're going to merge them all together into a topic sentence. But don't forget, there's also a fourth quality. Remember, main idea, controlling idea, focus topic, but you also need that fluency. A topic sentence cannot sound choppy. It cannot be more than one sentence. It cannot be all these qualities that just make it sound bleh. Remember, you want to have great fluency when it comes to a topic sentence. So what I came up with as an example topic sentence, and you cannot use this whatsoever when you're writing yours, okay? This is just as an example. Let's see if I can hold this up and read it at the same time. The tragic event of the 7 women killed in the 1970s has been called back into recent investigation while suspecting Ted Bundy as the culprit in the California murder spree. Number 1, it has my controlling idea, which is right here. There we go. Right here, tragic. Then I have my focus topic of the 7 women killed in the 1970s. And then I have my main idea how Ted Bundy is the suspect in this California murder spree. Okay? And I know it's my opinion, but I think it has good fluency. So anyway, here's an example. I want you to take your time and to formulate a great topic sentence because we are going to build this Bundy burger that's in your binder. On Monday, we're going to start to build that Bundy burger, and we're going to have our topic sentence up there. But if you don't have a strong and valid topic sentence, then your burger is going to be junk, okay? And we're not going to be able to use it. So we really need to work hard that this topic sentence is awesome. So I want you to take the rest of the class and work hard on this and see what you come up with, okay? Enjoy. Remember, behave. And hopefully there's a good note left from the substitute. Have a good weekend, darlings.